To go through hell, regardless of how long it is or difficult the journey, once you come through the other side and you walk out of hell, you can't make it through by being 99.9%. You just don't make it. You just don't make it. You got to be 100% to come through the other side. Now, once coming through the other side, you can't proclaim it. You can't stand on the mountaintop and shout it with your arms spread. I made it. Because it means nothing. It accounts for nothing. The only way to find out, and this goes for anything and everything, the only way to find out is to question it, to test it. Now, if you come through whatever hell you may encounter and walk through and journey through, whatever it is, whichever hell it is, you must face yourself, all right? Everything you are, everything you've done, everything anyone has ever said, everything anyone has ever done to you, the deepest, darkest secrets that only you know must be confronted. Now, confronting them, or not even them, yourself, confronting yourself, who you are at the core, all the good, all the bad, and all the in-between. Confronting that you come to a place of acceptance and understanding. All them open wounds that you suppressed, all the open wounds that you inflicted to yourself, knowingly or unknowingly, right? All them wounds someone else inflicted on you, whether it started in childhood, mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, or in a later stage, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, society, any institution, any organization, any group, any association. Any wounds afflicted upon self must be addressed, acknowledged, and healed. Otherwise, you're walking through hell, and even though you may come out the other side, if not addressed, not healed, not acknowledged, you may only be 99.9%. Now, as I say, I like to think like this and practice it as well. Don't take anyone's opinion, including mine. Question. Question it, question everything and everyone. Why? Is it true? Is it not true? Do your own research. Question it for yourself. For yourself, for yourself, and for yourself. Now, if them wounds ain't healed, after you question it, because in any process and after any process, you will be questioned and tested. And welcome it. Welcome it when it comes. Reason being, even though you know, when it's questioned, it provides evidence if it's really healed, if those wounds are healed. Trauma, it's the trauma, right? Everyone experiences trauma. The Greek meaning for trauma is wound. Now, if that wound's open, all right, when it comes to be tested and those wounds are pressed, right, when it's pressed, when a wound is there and it's pressed, it's like, oh, you know, it's sensitive, it hurts, it's unhealed. And through questioning and testing, you find out when those wounds are pressed, if they're healed or not. And when that occurs, welcome it, acknowledge it, and if they're not healed, and the pressing, the triggering of the trauma, it will continue to be triggered, right? So first of all, it's telling you to go back, do the work, look at it. Why isn't it healed? Why am I still triggered? But for some, may not be triggered. The process when you're coming through hell, when you're walking through hell, right? And you face yourself. You know that self that no one knows about up here? The self that no one knows, and the things you've done that no one knows about. You didn't speak it to a soul. But you know it was wrong. Now you know. Because when you get in the position to question it, you gain a different awareness. And when you're looking at it, you got that awareness now. Oh, so you could have been unconscious at the time. Unaware, I mean. But you look back and you think, oh. It's like like kids, when kids are playing and they make mistakes or they're being mean to their cousin or their sister, and you say, don't do that, that's wrong. They're still learning. You can't hold it over them and say, that little so-and-so, they're just a little, this and that. You don't do that because they're kids, right? And they don't know any better yet. It's just the same when you're coming through, when you're yet to look at yourself, at your true nature. Up until that point, you don't know. You're unaware. Then you get to the point where you go, oh, okay. And then when you come to the point of looking at yourself, facing yourself, it's like, oh, okay, so you recognize the patterns that you're trapped in. And you go, oh, okay, so that's why I done that. And that's what that was about. And that's what I was feeling and thinking at the time. And despite however the scenario you got there, the process you got to put yourself in that scenario, you understand. And as I said, when you're coming through this process, when you're coming through hell and you do this process and you're looking at yourself, right? You must cross this bridge of understanding. And to understand self, and self, when I'm pointing down here, it's to my gut, because that's where we keep our spirit. So the self, when you're confronting yourself and you're understanding it, judgment has no power, because you don't come from the view of, fuck, oh, was that bad, or I really done that? You do come to that, but then when you come to the understanding and go, oh, okay, so that's why. That's how. Because that there comes after the point of, oh, fuck, that's what I done. Why'd I do that? I can't believe I done that. Fuck. Then you come to the point of understanding after that and you go, oh, okay, I understand that. And judgment loses its power. Now, coming back to the triggering of the trauma, God willing, you come through hell 100%. 100%. Some describe it as you have enlightenment or you get a self-realization. Christians say you're born again. Now, when that trauma is still inside, right? You still got the memories, you still feel the emotions. But when it's being pressed on those wounds, when you've came through and you're 100%, because now you know who you are, you know what you are, you know where you come from, you know where you're at, and you know where you're going. You must come through with humility, with the understanding. And the judgment remains in hell. And maybe it remains there with everyone who's there, because they got the perspective of that judging. But the judging of the judges who tried the triggering, when you're 100% and you come through, it's not like there's no judgment for them. Even though that's what they're literally doing, from self, there cannot be no judging. Because you have to understand, you've got to ask the same questions that you asked yourself when you faced yourself, right? So if you can forgive yourself, you've got to forgive others. Because you understand them the same the way you understand you. You can't give away what you ain't got. I can't give away what I ain't got. I have understanding, love, compassion. I can give that. Coming from a point of judgment, places labels upon another person. Once you place that label upon someone, for example, they're crazy, right? It creates separation between the two individuals. The crazy one is crazy, so that allows the other individual who's not crazy to come from a point of view to point the finger and say, crazy, not crazy. Isolation, separation. Which in turns means I stand from a position of power and I'm looking down because I'm placing a label. I am you and you are me. We're no different. It's only the ego that separates us. Isolation, separation. Everything I fear, I'm projecting onto others. And when I project, it's because not only I recognize that in another person, it's because I recognize it in another person. Because I know it in me. That's how I can identify with it. Because I know. Because we're all only human, right? We all go through the same thought process. We all think the same. We all must cross that bridge and ask that same question. Don't stop asking questions. When you ask the questions and you get the answers, explore and expand on those. Dig deeper. Always dig deeper. And eventually you'll come to the point of understanding. You got to. You ask the right questions and enough questions, and you expand and explore on them and continue to ask questions, and you just keep branching off until you come to an understanding. The ones that don't are the ones who can't. And the ones that can't, what they can't do, the reason why they can't get to the point of understanding, because they cannot put themselves in another person's shoes and see it from their perspective, from their point of view. Because if they did, they come from a point of understanding then. Also, they can't acknowledge the truth, and the truth is they thought the same or they're just as bad. To acknowledge that in someone else, they got to acknowledge in them himself. But they want to stay in isolation and separation because they're different. And then comes the judging. No, they done this, or they said that, or they think that. Don't stop asking questions.